Lone Spartan here. So, what if Noble 6 actually survived the Reach? It's going to be one of our first more in-depth discussion videos. Hopefully you guys enjoy. But I think it's possible to think about, right? Because let's say 6 somehow fights through that final wave. He finds a way to either hide out or hook up with another Spartan evac group. He'd be stuck on a glass planet, however, but maybe Oni or some hidden Spartans could have extracted him. And of course, throughout the entirety of this war between the humans and the Covenant, there were Spartan groups completely off the books, off the radar, that would have maybe been in a situation to rescue 6 had the situation and the story actually dictated the course for that to happen. We know that's not the case, but for the sake of this topic, he makes it off-world. He'd probably end up back in the fight against the Covenant, right? We'd have to assume he'd be assigned to some sort of Black Ops missions. Imagine him obviously joining maybe, teams and sides with Chief. That would be crazy. We obviously know what 6 is all about, but he would prove that he could survive off Reach, which is most important. That wouldn't just be some weird thing that happened as a measure of luck. It would really show that Noble 6 is truly what I would consider is a relatively elite class level of Spartans that we know in the Halo lore. I think he should be considered in that bunch, and I was kind of disappointed that his run did end at the end of Halo Reach, the game. Maybe call it naive of me as I was at a much younger time in my life, but I really did have hopes that maybe he was going to survive that onslaught of all those Covenant elite master swordsmen, which, like I said, in hindsight, absolutely ridiculous. No way. But, the point was that I had hope with 6 because we were sent on all these missions where it feels like you're having to rally with the team half the time and do your thing, and you're just going on these horde sweeps, which is part of the fun of it. Can't wait to actually get back into that. Just a side note, if you guys want to lobby up and do some Reach campaign firefights, man, I really want to get back into a heavy firefight grind. So if you boys are up, let me know. Live IDs, whatever we need, gamer tags, and we'll be back on it. But I think Dr. Halsey is another angle of this that would obviously play a huge role in why him surviving would be a big deal. She would keep tabs on him, especially seeing as, again, him being able to survive the entirety of the fall of Reach would prove that he could probably be capable of handling events later on in the story that would become the timeline of Halo 4 and Halo 5. I think Noble 6 would have certainly survived to that point if he could have made it off Reach. So I think him surviving would have obviously changed the entire tone of Reach's ending from what we completely know, emotionally, nostalgic wise, just lore. It's one of those things that I really did have hopes for because, Chief is the one and only Spartan, and he's going to forever be the best for that. But it would have been interesting to see another Spartan, maybe not necessarily be in his shadows, but be kind of just an opposite spectrum of this overall Spartan hierarchy of, amazing super soldiers that Halo presented us with. I really thought that, it made sense for Noble 6's story to end on Reach. Obviously, I'm not arguing that at all, but I thought it would have been pretty interesting to see, had he survived, really what that would have meant. And also for the Spartan program, you have to think about that. Potentially something I'll do in a next video, actually, to follow up in this. Maybe we'll actually turn this into a series now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe 3, 4, 5 parts, as I'm just adding as I go. But I think this is something that, because it has such heavy implications, and again, the tone changes completely, it would alter Halo's events, I think, as well, quite significantly, because Noble 6 is not just a mere Marine on the ground. He's he's, in the Covenant's eyes, a demon, right? An actual demon that seemingly cannot be stopped, feels no emotion, is just absolutely bent on carnage and just racking up numbers and double kill, triple kill, overkill. You know what I mean? And that is totally what I think most of us go through playing as Spartans, especially doing firefighter horde modes or anything like that. That's the whole fun of it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll definitely turn this into a couple part series because again, I think there's a lot of different scenarios that play out. So let me know your thoughts, comment section below. This is TheLoneSpartan. We'll talk to you later.